Chapter 958. Apart from the ruined Pill Pond, Pill King Island also had many unique attractions, such as the Spirit Forest, 100 Herb Garden, Rainbow Road, and so on. The spiritual forest was a forest formed by spiritual trees. The spiritual trees inside, from low grade to supreme grade, there were all kinds of spiritual trees. Of course, there was only one supreme grade spiritual tree on Dan King Island. It was the fragrant camphor tree. Cultivating under the fragrant camphor tree, not only could it have the effect of calming the mind, it could also greatly increase the speed of cultivation. There would not be any phenomenon of unstable foundation. The 100 Herb Garden was similar to the spirit forest in that there were all kinds of spirit plants of different grades. As for the Rainbow Road, it was a very ordinary road. However, on both sides of the road were a large number of alchemy rooms. Pill Chi leaked out from these rooms and intertwined with each other, forming multicolored ribbons that looked like rainbows. Thus, it was called the Rainbow Road. Time passed quickly. Unknowingly, the sun had already risen to the middle of the sky. Dan King Island was a conical island. Of course, the top was not pointed, but a flat ground with a diameter of a few thousand meters, as if it was carved out by a knife. On the flat ground, there was a palace. In front of the palace, there was a Dan King Square paved with 5-colored crystals. Walking on the square, looking down, it was like walking on a 5-colored cloud. The spirit cloud and Dan cloud in the sky were all reflected in it. Neatly arranged seats were rows upon rows of seats. In front of the seats was a long tea table, on which were a few plates of fruits, a pot of tea, and a teacup. Many kings had already arrived. Su King is here, and so is Air Emperor. Battle Sky Elephant Emperor and Black Dragon Old Ancestor are actually chatting. They seem to be having a good conversation. Isn't that Blue Cloud Sword Emperor? What a powerful sword chi! Snow Flower Sword Emperor is here as well. His sword chi is not the slightest bit weaker than Blue Cloud Sword Emperor's. TSK. The two sword emperors exchanged a glance. Titled monarchs were the center of attention wherever they went, and kings were no exception. Apart from some titled monarchs who were well known, there were also titled monarchs who didn't usually show their faces. For example, the leader of the 5 Peaks School, one of the 9 great sects of True Spirit Continent, and the leader of the Divine Spear Pavilion, the Sky-Splitting Spear Emperor. Of these two titled monarchs, one was steady like a mountain, while the other had a sharp and tyrannical aura. They were two extremes. Among the top 9 martial schools of the True Spirit Continent, the Void Martial School was the strongest, followed by the Hell Martial School, then the 5 Mountain Martial School, and the Godly Spear Pavilion. However, in recent years, the Mountain Emperor and the Sky-Shattering Spear Emperor had rarely shown themselves. Therefore, their names were not that famous. In Elysium, only the top warriors knew of their existence. Its ancestor Golden Turtle. It's been 60 to 70 years since the last time this old fellow went into seclusion. Haven't you heard? Golden Turtle Old Ancestor came out of seclusion this time and joined the other 5 titled monarchs to go to South Rudra region of True Spirit Continent. They wanted to exterminate Yi clan, but in the end, 3 of them died and 2 of them escaped. Is that so? Since when did this Yi Chen become so powerful? Could it be that he alone could fight against 6 titled monarchs, including the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor? That's not it. Yi Chen had the help of the Demon Flower Emperor and Xianhou. The 3 of them joined hands and killed 3 of them, beating back the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor. Some life and death realm kings talk to each other. Humph. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor snorted. He observed their expressions and knew that these people were talking about him. An unhappy expression appeared on his face as he glared at them. Fearing the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor's tyranny, the crowd immediately stopped talking. There were a lot of kings who had arrived. In a short while, 60 to 70 people had already taken their seats, occupying about 1/6 of the Dan King Plaza. As time passed, the number of kings who had arrived became fewer and fewer. There were only 80 of them now, not even 100. However, compared to the past, the number of kings had increased. After half a cup of tea's worth of time, another 3 kings arrived. 1 man and 2 women, Yi Chen, Xian Ho, and the Demon Flower Emperor. Seeing the 3, the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor's expression was extremely interesting. It was as if he had swallowed a dead fly. The 3 of them are participating in the Dan King Conference together. In Elysium, I'm afraid this is the most unbreakable camp. The arrival of the 3 immediately attracted everyone's attention, most of which were on Yi Chen. After all, Yi Chen had entered the life and death realm this year, and belonged to the new generation of kings. A lot of people had never seen him in person, so they were secretly sizing him up, wanting to see what was so special about Yi Chen. The first impression that Yi Chen gave everyone was that he was young, looking like he was in his early 20s. The second impression was that he was calm and steady. The third impression was that he had a sharpness unique to sword artists. His eyes looked ordinary, but they had the power to see through people's hearts. Facing the gazes of so many kings, he was not the least bit reserved. This person is indeed Yi Chen. The Snowflake Sword Emperor sized up Yi Chen. A peerless genius capable of suppressing Marquis Sword Snow was definitely not an ordinary person. This was his first time seeing Taoist Yi Chen. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor, I heard you suffered a big loss at the hands of those 3. Is that true? Right at this moment, an untimely voice resounded. Everyone followed the voice and couldn't help but be stunned. The speaker was a titled king of Blood Sky Continent, Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor. Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor, are you looking for trouble? Golden Turtle Old Ancestor glowered at Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor. Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor ignored Golden Turtle Old Ancestor's gaze and said with a smile, seems like it's true. Don't worry, I was just casually mentioning it. This Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor seems to be brooding over being slapped away by Golden Turtle Old Ancestor back then. But, offending Golden Turtle Old Ancestor is not a wise decision. Some people were secretly sweating for Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor. Humph, don't talk about me even if you're Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor. Demon Flower Emperor and Xian Ho killed their way to Blood Sky Continent and broke through Terminator Demon Sec's Great Formation. I heard that Nirvana Demon Emperor specially called for your help, but he called the wrong person. I really feel sorry for him. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor took a deep breath and said with a mocking expression. Hee hee. After the Pill King Assembly, let's find a place to chat. Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor grinned, his eyes filled with battle intent. Alright, I could slap you away 100 years ago, and I can still do it 100 years later. I'm just afraid that you can't afford to lose face. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor picked up a fruit and fiercely took a bite. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor, be careful not to bite your tongue. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Just as Yi Chen and the others sat down, a new king arrived. The one who came was Nirvana Demon Emperor. At this time, Nirvana Demon Emperor seemed to have recovered to his peak, except that in addition to the domineering aura unique to those of the Demon Tao, there was also a thick layer of evil aura. His entire person looked very gloomy. Wherever he went, the heaven and earth yuan qi would be chaotic, making people unable to breathe. There's something wrong with this Nirvana Demon Emperor. Yi Chen frowned. The evil aura is so thick. Xian Ho nodded. Maybe he cultivated some powerful evil art. Demon Flower Emperor guessed. Chapter 959. What did you say, Demon Emperor Nirvana? Golden Turtle Old Ancestor didn't expect the Great Destruction Demon Emperor to help Zhan Tianxiang Emperor against him and speak rudely. Could it be that he, the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor, who had been in seclusion for dozens of years, no longer took him seriously? Yi Chen was like that, Demonic Flower Emperor was like that, Mysterious Queen was like that, and now even Zhan Tianxiang Emperor and Great Destruction Demon Emperor were like that. Nirvana Demon Emperor didn't look at Golden Turtle Ancestor. He smiled at Yi Chen and said, "I still have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to practice the heaven-abandoning evil art." What, heaven-abandoning evil art? Qi Tiandi's unique art, heaven-abandoning evil art. Everyone's expression changed as soon as Nirvana Demon Emperor Nirvana said this. Even Su King, Azure Sky Sword Emperor, and the others frowned and carefully looked at Nirvana Demon Emperor Nirvana. Qi Tiandi was the second titled monarch of the ancient era, and one of the three great monarchs in the history of true spirit world. Rumor has it that his heavenly abandonment evil art was a fusion of his own cultivation technique and a foreign race's cultivation technique. Its might was unprecedented, and its grade had already reached the peak heaven grade. As a peak heaven grade cultivation technique, the Zhen Yuan cultivated by heavenly abandonment evil art was incomparably powerful, and could easily penetrate the defense of kings of the same realm. Although they didn't believe that Nirvana Demon Emperor Nirvana had practiced the heaven-abandoning evil art to the highest level, as long as it was almost there, it would have terrifying destructive power. So it's the heaven-abandoning evil art. No wonder he recovered so quickly. Zhan Tian Elephant Emperor suddenly realized that Qi Tiandi was a cripple in his early years. His soul was also flawed and he was laughed at for being imbecile. This Nirvana Demon Emperor's soul was seriously injured and only Qi Tiandi could help him recover to his peak. Otherwise, treasures alone wouldn't be able to help him recover so quickly. Soul injuries were not that easy to heal. You don't have to thank me. I always like to help others. Yi Chen's expression didn't change as he smiled. Hee, it seems like you and I are the same type of person. I, Nirvana Demon Emperor, also enjoy helping others. Nirvana Demon Emperor put on a fake smile and looked very sinister. Impudent. The Golden Turtle Ancestor had never been ignored before, and the Nirvana Demon Emperor had touched his reverse scale. Suddenly standing up, the Golden Turtle Great Ancestor looked at the Nirvana Demon Emperor with an unfriendly expression. As long as the other spoke rudely again, he would kill the other even if he was injured. Great Ancestor Golden Turtle, you can't do anything to me. Nirvana Demon Emperor shook his head. Courting death. With a flash of golden light, Golden Turtle Ancestor appeared in front of Nirvana Demon Emperor in an instant and clawed at him. If you want to compete in claw techniques, I'll keep you company. Nirvana Demon Emperor curled his fingers and attacked with his claw. Crackle. The Dan King Plaza was covered in countless restrictions, which could prevent them from being destroyed. However, the shockwaves from the exchange between the two were too powerful. A huge amount of restrictions were immediately broken through, letting out endless explosive sounds. Some of the weaker life and death kings hurriedly flew away from the plaza to avoid being accidentally injured. Boom! The two of them each retreated a dozen steps. The finger of the Void Destruction Demon Emperor was twisted in a strange manner. It was obvious that the bones in his finger had been broken. The Golden Turtle Old Ancestor was not in a good condition either. There was a bone-deep claw mark on the back of his hand. The claw mark was extremely sharp and shocking, as if it contained a powerful claw technique. Sky-abandoning claw. Impossible. Even if it is sky-abandoning claw, you can't train it to this level in such a short time. The Golden Turtle Great Ancestor looked down at the claw mark on the back of his hand. It was unbelievable. He knew how high his defense was. Under normal circumstances, Nirvana Demon Emperor would not be able to hurt him at all. Sky-abandoning claw has 5 styles, and this is only the first style. Your luck is not bad. I just learned the first style. If I had learned a few more styles, you would be several times more miserable than you are now. Activating the Undying Body, the Nirvana Demon Emperor's twisted fingers quickly recovered. He sneered, his evil chi soaring into the sky. You think the first style of sky-abandoning claw can stop me from killing you? Don't be naive. The Golden Turtle Great Ancestor roared. His body expanded rapidly, and he was about to transform into his original form and crush the Nirvana Demon Emperor. However, at this moment, a voice was heard. Golden Turtle Great Ancestor, Nirvana Demon Emperor, stop now. Otherwise, don't blame me for kicking you out of Pill King Island. Inside the palace, a middle-aged man with a long beard walked out and yelled. Spirit Pill King. Many people bowed. Su King and the other titled monarchs also faintly nodded. Humph. The Golden Turtle Great Ancestor stopped expanding and returned to his seat. The Nirvana Demon Emperor sneered and sat beside Jean Tian Elephant Emperor. The two seemed to be afraid of the Spirit Pill King and didn't want to go against his will. The people present didn't show any strange expression. The Spirit Pill King wasn't very strong, just a high-level monarch. However, the Spirit Pill King's status in Elysium was very high. Whoever dared to touch him would be going against all the monarchs in the world. Without the Spirit Pill King, there wouldn't be a Decennial Pill King conference, and without the conference, they wouldn't have the chance to obtain supreme rank pellets. It should be known that ever since the Pill King Island came into existence, the conference had never stopped. It wasn't that there weren't people who dared to touch the Pill King Island and the Spirit Pill King, but they all died miserably. For the monarchs in the world, the Pill King Island was the holy land of alchemy. In addition, there was a shadow of a 6-star monarch behind the Pill King Island. Although no one dared to confirm it, no one dared to risk their lives. Seeing the two stop, the Spirit Pill King didn't mention it again. Instead, he walked towards Yi Chen with enthusiasm and said with a smile, "You must be Yi Chen. I've heard a lot about you." Yi Chen stood up, "I've heard a lot about you, Spirit Pill King, and the Pill King Conference. Supreme rank pellets were extremely useful for life and death kings. In the entire Elysium, only the Spirit Pill King could concoct supreme rank pellets. It should be known that the value of supreme rank pellets was dozens or hundreds of times that of supreme rank spiritual plants, because each pellet was concocted from countless supreme rank spiritual plants or treasures. One could easily imagine how precious they were. The two exchanged pleasantries. Seeing that it was getting late, the Spirit Pill King said, "The Pill King Conference is about to begin. I won't disturb you anymore." Walking to the front of the crowd, there was a long wooden table. The Spirit Pill King stood behind it, facing the crowd. "Everyone, the new Pill King Conference is about to begin. I'm very happy. This time, there are more kings than the previous ones. It means that my Pill King Island's Pill King Conference is quite attractive. Hee, Spirit Pill King, don't joke around. The most attractive thing in Elysium is the Pill King Conference. However, there are not many who can afford supreme rank pellets. This time, I only dared to come because I obtained a treasure." A king laughed. The Spirit Pill King also laughed, "There are too many monks and not enough gruel. It is destined that some people will return empty-handed. However, as the Hand Refiner King said, it doesn't matter if you don't have supreme rank spirit stones. If you have treasures, you can participate in the auction as well. According to the value of the treasures, I will give a rough estimate. Of course, it would be best if you don't take out treasures that I have never heard of. Otherwise, I won't be able to estimate it." Clearing his throat, the Spirit Pill King said seriously, "Cut the crap. The Pill King Conference officially begins." As he spoke, the Spirit Pill King took out a small jade box from his storage ring and opened it. Inside was a Longan-sized pellet. A layer of lustrous radiance spread out the moment the box was opened. Even from far away, everyone smelled it and felt the Jin Yuan in their body becoming restless. This is an extreme rank Yuan increasing pellet. It can increase cultivation base by 50 years. The starting price is 1 million supreme rank spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 50,000. Closing the box, the Spirit Pill King said loudly. "It is actually an extreme rank Yuan increasing pellet. It has never appeared in the last conference. My mental state has improved recently, and I can now contain more Jin Yuan. I have to get it. Some of the kings were tempted. I bid 1,100,000 supreme rank spirit stones. The first one to bid was the hand refiner king who was joking with the spirit pill king. I bid 1,200,000. 1,300,000. 1,500,000. 1,500,000. The extreme rank yuan increasing pellet was still quite popular, but it was not very popular. There were only a dozen people who participated in the bidding, and the price gradually increased to 50,000. 1,700,000. Yi Qin raised his hand. You can still increase cultivation base? The Demon Flower Emperor asked curiously. She was already shocked that Yi Qin could increase his cultivation base to more than 1,000 years. She did not expect that this was still not his limit. More or less. Actually, Yi Qin did not know where his limit was. 50 years of cultivation base was just a drop in the bucket, but it was better than nothing. 1,700,000 going once, going twice, going thrice, sold. The Spirit Pill King looked at Yi Qin. Yi Qin, this extreme rank yuan increasing pellet is yours. After the conference, we will trade. All right. Yi Qin nodded. At the same time, many people glanced at Yi Qin. They had the same doubts as the Demon Flower Emperor. As for the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor, he looked at Yi Qin with a trace of fear. He had never heard of someone who could increase his cultivation base to more than 1,000 years after entering life and death realm in less than a year. It was like a bottomless pit. The second pellet is the Battle Monarch pellet. This is a pellet that can increase one's battle power for a short period of time. According to my estimation, this pellet can increase the battle power of a mid-step king by several times, increase the battle power of a high-step king by 50%, and increase the battle power of a peak king by 20%. However, it should not be of much use to titled monarchs. Alright, the starting price of the Battle Monarch pellet is 1,200,000 supreme rank spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 50,000. The Spirit Pill King took out a radiant golden pellet and said loudly. 1,300,000. 1,400,000. 1,800,000. In the end, this Battle Monarch pellet was bought by a high-step king called the Swift Wind King for 2 million supreme rank spirit stones. After obtaining it, the Swift Wind King's face was full of joy. He was a high-step king. Once he swallowed the Battle Monarch pellet, his battle power would increase by 50%. What kind of concept was this? It could save his life at a crucial moment. Next, several more pellets were auctioned, and each of them had an astonishing price. It was no wonder that many kings did not participate in the Pill King convention. Being able to see it but not obtain it was undoubtedly a painful thing. The 8th pellet is an ancient pellet that I've researched for the past 10 years. It's called the 3-revolution body refining pellet. That's right, this pellet can enhance the spirit body. According to my estimation, it should be equivalent to an 8,000-year-old heavenly fiend fire spirit fruit. Everyone should know that a 10,000-year-old heavenly fiend fire spirit fruit can increase one's spirit body from 5th step to 6th step, and an 8,000-year-old heavenly fiend fire spirit fruit has about 30% of its medicinal effect. The starting price is 5 million supreme rank spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 100,000. Let's begin. The Spirit Pill King looked forward with a faint smile. In his eyes, the majority of titled monarchs became fervent. Chapter 960. 5,200,000. The first to bid was the 5 Mountain sect Master Yu Huang. He raised his hand calmly, and no one could tell what he was thinking. 5,300,000. Zhan Tianxiang Emperor also made a bid, but he restrained himself and only added 100,000. 5,400,000. 6 million. The price kept rising. Those who bid were basically titled monarchs like Sky-Splitting Spear Emperor, Nine-Headed Snake Emperor, Azure Cloud Sword Emperor, Snowflake Sword Emperor, and even the Air Emperor and Black Dragon Ancestor. As for those below the monarch rank, they didn't have the financial resources, and they didn't dare to compete with the monarchs. Treasures could only be guarded with strength. Without strength, it would be a crime to have a treasure. So, they simply watched from the side. The competition between monarchs was also a pleasing thing for them. 6,500,000. Golden Turtle Ancestor took the initiative and added 500,000 in one go. Forget it. I'm afraid I can't even get 8 or 9 million. Yu Huang was the first to give up. In fact, with his financial resources, he could still report it to his superiors. However, looking at the attitude of the others, he knew that his chances of getting the third revolution body refining pill were very low. As Yu Huang had expected, the third revolution body refining pill was very attractive to the monarchs. Apart from Xianhou and Yi Chen, those who could reach the monarch's strength had almost all reached the late stage. Even if they could improve, it would be very small, unlike Yi Chen, who would change every once in a while. Therefore, the third revolution body refining pill that could strengthen the spirit body was very popular. Even if it couldn't directly improve one's combat strength, it would still be good to improve one's physical defense. If I punch you, you will vomit blood, if you punch me, nothing will happen. It was very obvious who was better. Soon, the price of the third revolution body refining pill broke through 8 million. Most of the monarchs, like Yu Huang, withdrew from the competition. They didn't have the financial resources to bid. 8,200,000. A crisp voice was heard. It was the Demon Flower Emperor who made the bid. The third revolution body refining pill was not only useful for humans and demonic beasts, but also for perfect demonic humans. I bid 8,300,000. The Black Dragon Ancestor looked determined to win. 5 million. From the beginning to the end, Golden Turtle Great Ancestor never gave up. His physical defense was almost the strongest among all the people present. Even the Black Dragon Great Ancestor was inferior. The three revolutions body refining pill could continue to magnify his advantage. As soon as the Golden Turtle Great Ancestor made his bid, Zhan Tianxiang Emperor made his bid as well. It was 6 million. By now, even a fool could see that these four people were strong competitors for the third revolution body refining pill. As for who would win, it was unknown. However, some people looked at Su King. So far, Su King had not made a bid. With Su King's financial resources, there were only a few people who could compete with him. 10 million. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Su King slowly announced a price. Hiss. Everyone present gasped. Su King was indeed Su King. It was fine if he didn't bid, but his bid would definitely be shocking. Forget it, I quit. The Demon Flower Emperor leaned back against the back of the chair and quit the bidding. She knew the Surreal Emperor's character very well. He would not give up until he reached his goal. It was not the 10 million that made her quit the bidding, but the fact that the Surreal Emperor had joined in. Bad luck. Zhan Tianxiang Emperor hesitated for a moment and stopped bidding. In the end, only the Black Dragon Great Ancestor and Golden Turtle Great Ancestor were still struggling. They raised the price by 200,000 and 300,000 respectively, reaching 10 million and 500,000. 12 million. Su King glanced at the two with a faint smile. It seems that this three revolutions body refining pill will definitely fall into the hands of Su King. Yi Chen did not participate in the bidding. Although he had a lot of wealth, he could not compete with the magnates of these sections. Good steel should be used on the blade. Even if he bought this three revolutions body refining pill, it would not help him improve his spirit body from rank 5 to rank 6. In that case, not participating in the bidding was the best choice. Su King obtained an incomplete supreme grade spirit vein back then. In terms of wealth, he is second to none. He is also the sect master of the world's #1 sect, the Void Sect. He has a strong foundation. Xianhou nodded. Just as Yi Chen had guessed, the 3 Revolutions body refining pill was bought by Su King for 13 million. No matter how unwilling the Black Dragon Great Ancestor and the Golden Turtle Great Ancestor were, there was nothing they could do. Their wealth was not as good as Su King's, and their strength was almost the same. In terms of power, the Void Sect was even more powerful than the Red-Eyed Black Dragon Clan and the Golden Turtle Island. The 9th pellet is a reverse 9-turn spirit pellet. As the name suggests, the main ingredient of this pellet is the supreme grade spirit plant, the reverse 9-turn spirit plant. I believe I do not need to say more about its effect. Besides increasing one's lifespan by 9 years, its biggest effect is to strengthen one's soul. The effect of this reverse 9-turn spirit pellet is 5 times more powerful than the plant itself. Although you are all life and death realm warriors, if you take this pellet, your soul will be strengthened slightly, and your comprehensive ability will be enhanced. Moreover, your mental state will be improved as well. The starting price of this pellet is 8 million, and each increment should be no less than 100,000. After saying that, the Spirit Dan King's face was full of smiles. Among all these pellets, the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet was undoubtedly one of his masterpieces. However, the plant was too hard to find. After so many years, he had only managed to find 2 of them, which he used to make 2 pellets. One was for himself, and the other was for auction. It is actually the ancient pellet, the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet. Compared to the 3-turn body refining pellet, the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet was even more precious. The 3-turn body refining pellet only had 30% of the Sky Fiend Fire Spirit Fruit's medicinal effect. It could not upgrade the 5th step spirit body to the 6th step, unless the spirit body itself had reached the late 5th step. Moreover, the 3-turn body refining pellet could not directly increase one's battle power. If one had it, it would naturally be for the best. If one didn't, no one would care too much about it. However, the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet was different. After taking it, it could strengthen one's soul and improve one's comprehensive ability, which would indirectly increase one's battle power. Among the ancient pellets, the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet was also one of the top ones. It belonged to the supreme grade mid-grade pellet, and was even more precious than the 2 3-turn body refining pellets. Reverse 9-turn spirit pellet. A strange light flickered in Yi Chen's eyes. Back then, he had also obtained 2 reverse 9-turn spirit pellets. Unfortunately, he had used them both. For him at that time, the effects of the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet were indeed astonishing. However, even now, he estimated that it could not strengthen his soul by much. The main reason was that his soul was too robust, 10 times that of ordinary life and death kings. Apart from that, the soul of life and death kings was also very powerful. Swallowing a reverse 9-turn spirit pellet did not have much of an effect. Who would have thought that the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet could increase its effects by 5 times? In this way, it could strengthen the soul of a life and death king by a small margin. Unfortunately, it's quite useful to others, but it's not essential to me. Yi Chen's soul had not been thoroughly stimulated, so taking the pellet would be a waste. Reverse 9-turn spirit pellet. The Demon Flower Emperor's heart stirred. She was a perfect demonic human, and in terms of comprehension, she could not compare to the majority of titled monarchs. Such a powerful battle strength was largely due to her perfect demonic human's innate superiority. The Demon Flower Emperor was not the only one who was stirred. Apart from a few extremely powerful souls, everyone present was eyeing the pellet like tigers watching their prey, rubbing their palms. You too, I hope you can help me out a bit. The Demon Flower Emperor said to Yi Chen and Xianhou. Sure. Yi Chen and Xianhou did not refuse. The pellet's price rose at an extremely fast speed. In a short while, it had already reached 14,500,000, 1,500,000 higher than the final price of the third-turn body refining pellet. 15 million. The Demon Flower Emperor sucked in a deep breath and said loudly. As long as Su King did not participate, the Demon Flower Emperor was determined to obtain the pellet. 16 million. The great ancestor of Golden Turtle Island was extremely wealthy. The reason why he didn't compete with the Void Emperor for the third revolution body refining pill was that he knew he couldn't compete with the Void Emperor. Instead of raising the price very high and ultimately losing it, it was better to sell a favor to the Void Emperor. Now that the Void Emperor didn't seem to be interested in the reverse 9 revolution body refining pill, how could he not compete? 17 million. The Demon Flower Emperor's voice followed. Where did this Demon Flower Emperor get so many supreme rank spirit stones? The Black Dragon Old Ancestor had already withdrawn from the bidding. He was somewhat shocked by the 17 million bid by the Demon Flower Emperor. So that's how it is. It must be Xianhou supporting her from behind. The Black Dragon Ancestor did not count Yi Chen in. Yi Chen had only reached the life and death realm for half a year, so how could he have that much wealth? He had taken out 1,700,000 supreme rank spirit stones to buy the supreme rank yuan boosting pellet, which was probably all he had. Even if I can't get it, you will have to spend more spirit stones. The Golden Turtle Old Ancestor was very annoyed. He was sure that the Demon Flower Emperor did not have so many spirit stones. Plus, he did not have so many treasures. But, the other party had backup. 19,900,000, if you raise it again, I will give it to you. The Golden Turtle Old Ancestor snorted. The Demon Flower Emperor glanced at the Golden Turtle Old Ancestor and said, 20 million. In the end, the pellet was sold for 20 million, and the Demon Flower Emperor owed Yi Chen 2 million supreme rank spirit stones and Xianhou 3 million supreme rank spirit stones respectively. This time, I have specially brought a few treasures. When the conference is over, I should be able to sell them for more than 5 million supreme rank spirit stones. I will return them to you at that time. The Demon Flower Emperor let out a breath and thanked him. The 10th auction item was not a pellet but a medicinal liquid. Seeing the Spirit Pill King open the special wooden barrel, Yi Chen's eyes lit up. This medicinal liquid was the Spirit Tree Cultivation Liquid. Judging from the powerful spiritual qi, it was 100% a supreme rank Spirit Tree Cultivation Liquid. 1 year could increase the maturity of the Spirit Tree by 3,000 years. If the Fire Pear Tree could become a supreme rank Spirit Tree, even 103rd Revolution body refining pills would not be able to compare. How could 1/3 Revolution body refining pill compare to an entire supreme rank Fire Pear Tree? In front of the wooden table, the Spirit Pill King smiled and said, 1 year of supreme rank Spirit Tree Cultivation Liquid will only need 1 year to increase the maturity of your Spirit Tree by 3,500 years. The starting price is 10 million supreme rank Spirit Stones. Each bid must be at least 100,000. If you do not have enough Spirit Stones, you can take out your treasures and let me appraise them. Begin. Chapter 961. 10 million starting bid. Yi Chen frowned a little. Before, the third turn body enhancing pellet started at 5 million, and the reverse 9 turn spirit pellet started at 7 million. Now, the extreme rank Spirit Tree nutrient fluid suddenly increased by 3 million. 10 million starting bid was almost his entire wealth. Before killing the Black Water Ancestor and the Red Water Ancestor, Yi Chen had 7 million extreme rank Spirit Stones. After killing the 3, Yi Chen got their storage rings. Among them, the Black Water Ancestor had 1.5 million extreme rank Spirit Stones, the Red Water Ancestor had 2.5 million, and the Yellow-Robed Man had the most, reaching 4 million. Adding on Yi Chen's own 7 million, he had a total of 14,800,000. However, he had spent 1,700,000 on the extreme rank yuan increasing pellet, and lent 2 million to the Demon Flower Emperor, so he still had 11 million left, which was obviously not enough to buy the spirit tree nutrient fluid. What? You want this spirit tree nutrient fluid? Xianhou observed Yi Chen's expression and asked. Yi Chen nodded and forced a smile. I still need a lot of extreme rank spirit stones. Even with some treasures, it would only be around 16 million. There were some treasures in the 3 storage rings. Yi Chen estimated that they would be worth around 5 million extreme rank spirit stones. However, the starting bid of the nutrient fluid was already 10 million, so the final price would definitely be higher than the reverse 9-turn spirit pellet. I still have 4 million extreme rank spirit stones here, and some other treasures are also worth a few million extreme rank spirit stones. Yi Chen shook his head. No, 16 million is fine. If I can get it, then so be it. If not, then forget it. Anyway, a year of extreme rank spirit tree nutrient fluid is not enough to upgrade my fire pear tree to the extreme rank. It was understandable that the Demon Flower Emperor wanted to borrow spirit stones from them. After all, if she missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one in the future. The 9 Twists Reversal Spirit Pill was very useful to her as it could increase her perception, and the fire pear tree was just an external object. It couldn't be upgraded to the supreme grade in one go, so Yi Chen didn't intend to borrow spirit stones from others. The Demon Flower Emperor smiled and said, if I had known that there would be something you like later, I wouldn't have borrowed your spirit stones. How about this, I'll give you the treasures I've brought as repayment for the 2 million top-grade spirit stones I borrowed from you. The Demon Flower Emperor flipped his hand, and a fiery red octagonal crystal appeared in his hand. He handed it over to Yi Chen. This is an 8 extreme fire crystal, and it contains 8 different flames. If the Spirit Pill King is knowledgeable, he will definitely give it a high price. As for the extra, just treat it as interest. Being able to obtain the 9 Twists Reversal Spirit Pill, the Demon Flower Emperor's trip was not in vain, so he had no other thoughts. That's good, thank you. Yi Chen accepted the 8 extreme fire crystal and thought, this 8 extreme fire crystal is useless to normal people, but it is very useful to the Spirit Pill King. It's definitely worth 3 to 4 million. Adding on the ones I have, it should be about 20 million in total. Yi Chen wasn't confident. He didn't know how many people were eyeing the cultivation fluid. 1 year of top-grade cultivation fluid can increase the maturity of a tree by 3,500 years. Not bad at all. Although my purple mandala demonic tree is already a supreme-grade spirit tree, with this supreme-grade spirit tree cultivation fluid, it will be able to grow for more than 15,000 years, and its effects will only get better and better. The Nirvana Demon Emperor, who had already won an elixir earlier, smiled. The bidding began, and almost all the emperors participated. Of course, most of them were just there to accompany the others. The Spirit Pill King had his own considerations when he placed the cultivation fluid after the 9 Twists Reversal Spirit Pill. Everyone here was a giant, and everyone had cultivated 1 or 2 spirit trees. Compared to the 9 Twists Reversal Spirit Pill, the cultivation fluid looked ordinary, but it was more popular. The price continued to climb, and under Yi Chen's helplessness, it reached a high price of 16 million top-grade spirit stones. During this time, Yi Chen asked the Spirit Pill King to estimate the treasures he had obtained from the 3 old monsters. Perhaps the treasures were really good, or perhaps the Spirit Pill King was intentionally raising the price, but in Yi Chen's opinion, the treasures that were only worth 5 million top-grade spirit stones were valued at 7 million. This was why, aside from the 8 extreme fire crystal, the highest price Yi Chen could offer was 18 million top-grade spirit stones. However, it was obvious that 18 million was not enough to buy this cultivation fluid 18 million. Yi Chen immediately increased the price by 2 million, 19 million. Nirvana Demon Emperor's net worth was beyond everyone's imagination. At this time, 90% of the people had given up. Spirit Pill King, how many spirit stones is this 8 extreme fire crystal worth? Yi Chen's expression didn't change as he took out an octagonal red crystal from his storage ring. The Spirit Pill King's eyes lit up. It's actually an 8 extreme fire crystal. Good, this thing isn't that useful to others, but it's very useful to me. I estimate it at 7 million top-grade spirit stones. Yi Chen, this Spirit Pill King seems to want to befriend you. As the original owner of the Octopole Fire Crystal, the Devil Flower Emperor naturally knew that this thing was extremely rare. However, it was only a small piece after all, and it wasn't considered very big. Once its energy was used up, it would become a piece of useless rock. Therefore, being able to sell it for 3 or 4 million top-grade spirit stones was already very good. 7 million was definitely impossible. 7 million, I'll add 7 million then. Yi Chen looked at Nirvana Demon Emperor. Nirvana Demon Emperor didn't continue bidding. 26 million exceeded his net worth. He smiled evilly, worthy of being the youngest life and death sword king. Even your bidding is fierce. It's not an injustice for me to lose to you back then. It was unknown what had happened to Nirvana Demon Emperor. Not only did he have a trace of evil chi, but his personality also seemed to have changed a lot. Imperceptibly, he had a kind of confidence and calmness that made it seem as if the sky would collapse. The cultivation fluid was won by Yi Chen. Next, it was the climax of the Pill King Conference. In every Pill King Conference, the final pill would be called Pill King. Pill King was naturally the best pill of the Pill King Conference. This time's Pill King was the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill. The Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill was a special pill. After swallowing, it wouldn't be refined immediately. Instead, it would enter the dantian and return to silence. When the martial artist's Shen Yuan circulated to the limit, the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill's medicinal effect would be activated. The berserk medicinal effect would cause the martial artist's Shen Yuan to go berserk as well. It was like burning the martial artist's cultivation base, bursting out a terrifying battle power. Apart from this, the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill had another advantage. As long as the Shen Yuan circulation speed decreased, the medicinal effect would stop, allowing the martial artist to use it next time. Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill's starting price is 15 million supreme grade spirit stones. Each bid must be at least 100,000. The Spirit Dan King's face was filled with excitement. It would be a waste for him to use the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan Dan himself. Even if he stimulated the medicinal power of the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan Dan, his battle prowess would at most reach the level of a peak king. Moreover, to him, increasing his cultivation level was for the sake of better refining pills, not for the sake of becoming stronger, but for the sake of refining pills. Therefore, he had never thought of keeping this Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan Dan for his own use. He even has one of the 10 great ancient miraculous pills. This Spirit Pill King's achievement would be outstanding even in the ancient times. Xianhou revealed a shocked expression. Among the 10 great ancient miraculous pills, 7 of them were supreme grade, 3 of them were supreme grade, and the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill was one of the 8th miraculous pills. As soon as the Spirit Pill King's words fell, the Dan King Square was in an uproar. With this Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill, the battle power I can display is definitely the limit of a 5-star overlord, close to a 6-star overlord. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor's breathing became rapid. Although he coveted the 3 revolution body refining pill, he didn't lose his mind. But now, he felt that he was about to lose his mind. Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill, damn it, there will definitely be a lot of people competing for it. Black Dragon Old Ancestor was burning with anxiety. 5-star titled monarchs were also divided into different levels. The first level was naturally a powerful existence like Golden Turtle Old Ancestor Su King, who had a peak 4-star battle power. 4-star advanced battle power barely belonged to this level. The second level was for mid-level 4-star battle power. For those in the first level, the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill could make them the strongest existence among the 5-star titled monarchs. For those in the second level, the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill could make them rise to the first level without fear. Let's go all out. Zhan Tianxiang Emperor gritted his teeth. As the sect leader of a 5th-grade sect, his net worth wasn't enough to bid for the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill. Therefore, he could only use the sect's resources. This would undoubtedly damage the sect's foundation, but he couldn't care so much at the moment. Even if the sect's resources were used up, as long as he was alive, he could slowly accumulate it back. And if he missed the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill this time, he might not get it next time. The price of the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill rose rapidly, from 15 million to 30 million. After a dozen bids, it reached 40 million, 50 million. In the end, the final price of the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill reached 58 million, and it was won by Su King. Damn it! All the good stuff belongs to him. Su King was undoubtedly the big winner of this Alchemy King convention. First, he got the body refining pill, and now he got the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill. From now on, even Golden Turtle Old Ancestor would have to be wary of Su King. Su King could be said to be invincible below the 6-star king level. No one could be his opponent. After the Alchemy King convention ended, it was time for private transactions. Yi Chen was satisfied after getting a Supreme Grade Yuan increasing pill and a year's Supreme Grade cultivation fluid from the Spirit Pill King. As for the Violent Tiger Dragon Yuan pill, although it was good stuff, it wasn't his. It was useless to think too much about it. It was better to go back and cultivate and continue to improve his strength. Look! Golden Turtle Old Ancestor doesn't seem to want to let Nirvana Demon Emperor go. That's right. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor didn't get anything this time, and Nirvana Demon Emperor provoked him first. It would be strange if he let him go. He probably wants to teach him a lesson. Leaving Alchemy King Island, Golden Turtle Old Ancestor stopped Nirvana Demon Emperor. Boom! Boom! Without any pleasantries, the two began to fight. Puff! After exchanging more than 100 moves, Nirvana Demon Emperor was no match for Golden Turtle Old Ancestor. He was hit by the opponent's claw and spat out a mouthful of blood. Borrowing the strength of the claw, he quickly left this place. Golden Turtle Old Ancestor, remember this. Nirvana Demon Emperor's voice came from afar. Humph! Golden Turtle Old Ancestor's huge body shrank and turned back into a human. In the void millions of miles away, Nirvana Demon Emperor sneered, "It's really not good to suppress my strength. Unfortunately, I can't expose it now, or it will arouse suspicion." Chapter 962. This is my Pill King Island's best pill tea. It can cleanse the impurities in your body and improve your physique. This was a tea house on the mountainside of Pill King Island. On the top floor of the tea house, Yi Chen and the Spirit Pill King sat by the window, chatting while drinking tea. Outside the tea house, spirit clouds and pill clouds floated like a gorgeous sea of clouds. Good tea. Yi Chen took a sip and felt that his internal organs were much more comfortable, and the pores on his skin had relaxed. Spirit Pill King, thank you for what you did before. Putting down the teacup, Yi Chen expressed his gratitude. No problem, if a few million top-grade spirit stones can make friends with a genius like you, I would have made a profit. The Spirit Pill King poured another cup for Yi Chen. You flatter me. I'm not flattering you. Originally, I thought Xianhou would be the most outstanding person in this era, but I didn't expect another person like you to appear. If it was only her, the possibility of clearing the path to death would only be 10 to 20%, but now with the two of you, it's more than 70%. The Spirit Pill King sighed. By the way, do you need more top-grade spirit tree culture liquid? The Spirit Pill King asked. Yi Chen said, I have a 3,000-year-old fire pear tree, I want to cultivate it to the top grade. Fortunately, I still have 1-year-old top-grade spirit tree culture liquid, and its effect is better than yours. It can increase it by 4,000 years in 1 year, I'll give it to you. The Spirit Pill King waved his right hand and an exquisite wooden barrel appeared on the ground next to the table. I don't deserve it, this gift is too much. Yi Chen shook his head. This was an item worth tens of millions of supreme-grade spirit stones. Even if it was a gift from others, he couldn't accept it. If it was just a small gift, it wouldn't be a problem. The Spirit Pill King said, top-quality spirit stones are just a number to me, and it is the same for you. Not to mention, when your fire pear tree grows to the top-quality level, you can give me more fire pears. Top-quality fire pears are good materials for refining pills. Seeing that Yi Chen still didn't want to accept it, the Spirit Pill King smiled bitterly. Actually, I have something to ask of you. Go ahead. Yi Chen nodded. I have a grandson called Yan Jianhui, 14 years old this year. Although he lives on Pill King Island, he doesn't want to become an alchemist. Instead, he's infatuated with sword arts. Originally, I wanted to send him to Sky Sword Continent and have him join either Blue Cloud Sword Sect or Snowflake Sword Sect. However, Sky Sword Continent is too far away, and it's not convenient to go there. And now, I've heard that you've entered Life and Death Realm. Therefore, I've always wanted him to become your disciple. I don't have any other intentions. The Spirit Pill King looked at Yi Chen with hope. He didn't think that just because he gave Yi Chen a small favor, Yi Chen would agree to anything. After all, who would be willing to accept someone they weren't satisfied with as a disciple? Okay, sure. Take me to see him first. Yi Chen decided that if Yan Jianhui's sword Dao talent was not bad, then he would accept him as a disciple. If it was really bad, then he would be powerless. Yan Jianhui's residence was not luxurious. It was a small lakeside house. When the two arrived, they saw a youngster practicing sword arts on a lotus flower. His sword arts were elegant and sharp. Sometimes, it was like a small grass sprouting, sometimes it was like the reflection of water, sometimes it was like a spring breeze, and sometimes it was like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. I'll accept this disciple. Yi Chen was excited. This Yan Jianhui's sword arts were even more spirited than his little brother Yi Xian's. He was definitely a sword Dao genius. Accept? The Spirit Pill King didn't have much understanding of sword Dao, so he couldn't tell whether Yan Jianhui had potential in this aspect or not. After all, he was only 13 years old and was still in the initial stage of development. No matter how good his sword arts were, they were just child's play in his eyes. Yes. Yi Chen revealed a faint smile. After a set of sword arts, Yan Jianhui noticed the Spirit Pill King and Yi Chen and said excitedly, Grandpa, he is Yi Chen. What Yi Chen? Yi Chen. From today onwards, he is your master. The Spirit Pill King shouted. Master? Yan Jianhui was still a little confused. The Spirit Pill King scolded, Fool, your master has already agreed to accept you as a disciple. You are his first disciple, why are you not kowtowing? Yan Jianhui's face turned red. He quickly jumped to the lakeside and knelt in front of Yi Chen. Disciple Yan Jianhui greets master. Get up. Yi Chen helped Yan Jianhui up. A master was like a parent, so there was nothing wrong with accepting this kowtow. At this moment, Yan Jianhui still didn't believe it. A few months ago, he had only casually mentioned it to his grandpa. He didn't expect that he would really become Yi Chen's disciple today. It should be known that some of the masters who had taught him sword arts said that the #1 sword art genius in this era was none other than Yi Chen. Even in the ancient era, Yi Chen was a sword art genius that could be counted on one's fingers. Yi Chen said solemnly, I have never accepted a disciple. You are my first disciple. As the eldest disciple, not only must you set an example, you must also train diligently. You cannot slack off in the slightest. Yes, disciple understands. Yan Jianhui said seriously. On the first day of next month, you go to True Spirit Continent's Yi family. During this period of time, do everything you need to do. Yi family was tens of millions of li away from Pil King Island. Not returning for several years was normal. Saying goodbye to the spirit Pil King, Yi Chen flew toward True Spirit Continent. As soon as he came back, Yi Chen refined the extreme grade yuan increasing pellet, which increased his cultivation by another 50 years, reaching 1,130 years. And he had only reached life and death realm half a year ago. 2 years of top-grade spirit tree culture fluid. One portion can increase the tree's maturity by 3,500 years, and the other can increase the tree's maturity by 4,000 years. Altogether, it is 7,500 years, which is enough to cultivate the fire pear tree into a 10,000-year top-grade spirit tree. However, watering the fire pear tree every day is also a troublesome thing. Sometimes, Yi Chen would go into closed-door training for 10 days to half a month. Sometimes, he would be so immersed in his sword training that he would lose track of time. So, it would be impossible to water the tree every day. Let Yian do this. Yian was a side-branch disciple of Yi family. His sword art talent was ordinary, but he was very hard-working. He would not complain about anything. A while ago, Yi Chen had his eyes on him and asked him to go to the Spirit Cloud Mountain to take care of some errands for him. When he was free, he would teach him some basic sword arts, helping him build a good foundation. Yian was very attentive to the things Yi Chen asked him to do. He knew that his talent was not good, and he was also a side-branch disciple. If nothing unexpected happened, he would at most be a normal attendant of the Yi family. However, he had caught the eye of Yi Chen. Yi Chen was the #1 sword art genius in the outside world, but in the Yi family, he was like a god. Not to mention a side-branch disciple like him, even a lot of geniuses of the Yi family would want to follow him. Because of this, a lot of people were envious of him. Some of the people who used to look down on him had now changed their attitudes. After leaving the cultivation fluid to Yian, Yi Chen calmed down and continued to study the sword move, Merciless Water and Fire. As the Fire Emperor's ultimate skill, Merciless Water and Fire was very difficult to cultivate, let alone turning it into a sword art. Not only did Yi Chen have to work hard to fuse the water and fire esoteric, he also had to create a sword move that could accommodate the two opposing esoteric. Fortunately, he had reached the 18th level of the sword realm and had seen thousands of sword arts. Each sword art contained a trace of sword art essence, which saved Yi Chen a lot of time to study. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Boom! An aquamarine flaming sword light swept out, and a row of huge rocks was burned into nothingness. A large crack appeared in the space, and the edges melted into crystals. Finally, small success. Merciless Water and Fire contained the water esoteric and fire esoteric. The color was the color of water, and the form was the form of fire. After reaching small success, it became an aquamarine flame. Don't look down on this aquamarine flame. Just a trace of it was enough to blast a mountain into pieces. It was very domineering. I wonder if my eldest disciple has sparred with Yi Xian. During this 1 month, the spirit Dan King personally brought Yan Jianhui to the Yi family. After the ceremony, Yan Jianhui officially became Yi Chen's first disciple. Perhaps it was because their ages were similar, but Yi Xian and Yan Jianhui were a little unconvinced and often found opportunities to spar. However, Yi Xian was older by 1 or 2 years, and he was often taught by Yi Chen. In their first spar, Yan Jianhui couldn't even take a single sword strike and was defeated in a very embarrassing manner. Yi Chen found it funny, and according to Yan Jianhui's style, he chose a spring wind rain sword art for him to practice. He also explained a little so that Yan Jianhui could understand the essence of the spring wind rain sword art. With Yi Chen's guidance, Yan Jianhui wasn't as embarrassed as the first time, but it was still very difficult for him to take a few moves from Yi Xian. This made him understand that within 1 or 2 years, it would be very difficult for him to surpass Yi Xian. Moreover, Yi Xian had killed people before, so his sword art was much more murderous than his. Sure enough, in a flat area of the Spirit Cloud Peak, Yan Jianhui and Yi Xian were sparring again, and Yi Xiaoxiao was teaching from the side. Shall we use your continuous drizzle to attack him? Sigh, it's continuous drizzle, not torrential rain. Yi Xiaoxiao had a look of defeat on her face. Don't blindly join in the fun. Yi Chen walked over and knocked Yi Xiaoxiao's head. Holding her head, Yi Xiaoxiao said proudly, with my guidance, Shao we can already take 5 moves. This is Yi Xian going easy on him. Otherwise, we won't be able to play anymore. Yi Chen sized up the 2 people on the field. In terms of style, Yan Jianhui was more agile. Every move he made seemed to be made by nature. However, compared to Yi Xian, he wasn't flexible enough, and neither was he sharp enough. Any random sword attack from Yi Xian would be able to hit his weak points. Jianhui, the essence of the spring breeze rain sword art is the word transform, not the spring breeze and rain. If you want to master this sword art, you must know how to change. Don't rigidly adhere to the form. Yi Chen said. Yan Jianhui had the root of wisdom. Hearing Yi Chen's words, his sword art suddenly changed, becoming more ordinary. When Yi Xian's sword art attacked, he would immediately change into the spring breeze, neutralizing his opponent's attack. When his opponent's old force had dissipated, he would change into the drizzle again, continuously attacking his opponent. Yi Xian was caught off guard and was forced to retreat. Ding! Suddenly, Yi Xian squinted his eyes and waved his sword, knocking away the treasured sword in Yan Jianhui's hand. That sword was one of Yi Xian's ultimate moves. Normally, he would only use ordinary moves to spar with Yan Jianhui. Compared to Yi Xian, Yan Jianhui was still lacking. He needed some time to convert his talent into strength. Chapter 963. As the days passed, Yi Chen's research on heartless water and fire became more and more thorough. As he perfected this move, Yi Chen could feel its destructive power more and more. Heartless water and fire meant heartless. Testing the sword art's power with inanimate objects is hard to find. I might as well go to the forbidden areas. Up until now, besides the Bloodlight Ocean, Yi Chen had not gone to any other king-grade forbidden areas. The Bloodlight Ocean was ranked 4th in the Blood Sky continent, but in terms of danger, it was only as dangerous as the top 7 king-grade forbidden areas. Yi Chen felt that it was time to go to some of the forbidden areas of the continent. According to Senior Yuan Emperor, the Savage Stone can only be formed in the Savage Mountains. Among all the forbidden areas of the continent, the Desolate Mountain Range, which is ranked 3rd, has the largest Savage Mountains. Perhaps I can find a Savage Stone there. Savage Stone was the pass to enter the Savage Star. This time, Yi Chen not only wanted to go to the forbidden areas, but also to see if he could find a Savage Stone. Yi Xian, Jianhui, if you want to comprehend the sword intent as soon as possible, you have to be sincere in your heart and in your sword. If you cannot do it now, you will have to rely on your cultivation to comprehend the sword intent in the future, which will be hard to achieve. Before leaving, Yi Chen said a few words to the 2. Sincere in your heart and in your sword. Yan Jianhui frowned. Indeed. In this aspect, you can only rely on yourselves. No one else can help you. Sword intent was also the intent of the sword. If one did not comprehend it before the Sea of Souls realm, they would be able to comprehend it after reaching the Sea of Souls realm. However, it would have to rely on one's cultivation to comprehend it, so the potential would be very small. It was like building one's foundation. If one comprehended the sword intent at a very early age, the foundation would be very firm and indestructible. However, if one comprehended the sword intent after reaching the Sea of Souls realm, the foundation would be very unstable. Alright, I have taught you the lone peak of 13 swords a few days ago. You guys train well. When I come back, I will see which of you has a deeper understanding of it. Today's lone peak of 13 swords was no longer the Sky Cloud Martial School's lone peak of 13 swords. Back then, the lone peak of 13 swords was just an incomplete version, and it was only a mid-rank mortal realm sword art. But after Yi Chen's improvement, the lone peak of 13 swords became a top-rank mortal realm sword art. Actually, Yi Chen could even change the lone peak of 13 swords into an earth realm or even a heaven realm sword art, but it would be pointless. If he changed it too much, it would no longer be the lone peak of 13 swords. Yi Chen just made some minor changes to make it perfect. Big brother, don't worry. I won't lose. Master, I won't lose either. Yan Jianhui had been abused by Yi Xian countless times. This was his chance to make a comeback. Yi Chen smiled. At this age, it was good to be competitive. Let them fight for it. The Desolate Mountain was located in the northern region. As the third-ranked king-grade forbidden place in the whole True Spirit continent, the danger of the Desolate Mountain was naturally self-evident. Normally, only top king warriors would dare to enter the Desolate Mountain. The death rate for high-rank king warriors would be more than 50%. Even titled monarchs with 5-star battle power would be in grave danger if they entered the core area. In the past 100 years, 3 titled monarchs had disappeared in the Desolate Mountain, never to be seen again. HM. Snowflake Sword Emperor. The outer perimeter of the Desolate Mountain was shrouded in a layer of 5-colored mist. It was an extremely poisonous 5-poison miasma. If a normal warrior breathed it in, they would immediately turn into a bloody puddle. If a life and death realm warrior stayed in the mist for a long time, his Jin Yuan would be consumed at least 10 times faster than normal. Outside the 5-poison miasma, a human figure flashed past, flying into the miasma. Yi Chen could see clearly that the person who had entered was indeed the Snowflake Sword Emperor, whom he had met once in the Pill King convention. Someone from the Sky Sword continent actually came to the True Spirit continent. Yi Chen was a bit curious. After all, the Sky Sword continent also had king-grade forbidden places. Could it be for the Savage Stone? No matter if it was the Blood Sky Land or the Sky Sword Land, when it came to the Savage Mountains, they were not as good as the True Spirit continent. Without thinking too much, Yi Chen pushed his Jin Yuan and flew toward the 5-poison miasma. Shoo! As soon as the 5-poison miasma made contact with his protective Jin Yuan, it immediately rushed over like a leech, letting out a sizzling sound like boiling water being poured on the ground. After about 10 breaths' time, Yi Chen passed through the miasma and arrived in another world. This was a world that had preserved its original appearance. The ground, mountains, and all kinds of plants carried traces of ancient aura. The moment he appeared, Yi Chen had a feeling that he had gone back in time. This is the Tyrant Tree. As his feet landed on the ground, Yi Chen's gaze fell on a tree that was only as tall as 2 people. If Yi Chen remembered correctly, this seemingly ordinary tree was the Tyrant Tree. The Tyrant Tree was not some kind of precious species. It was only an ordinary tree, but for normal warriors, it was a supreme treasure, because the quality of this tree was extremely hard. When made into a wooden sword, it would be much harder than ordinary ungraded swords. Some rich and powerful families would also use the Tyrant Tree to make precious furniture, but only 1 or 2 sets of furniture. As far as the eye could see, the forest formed by the Tyrant Tree extended far into the distance. Some of the more ancient ones were actually dozens of meters tall, and each of their leaves looked like iron leaves. So many Tyrant Tree. If ordinary people saw this, it would probably cause a huge commotion. Yi Chen chuckled. Those who could come in here were at least peak king warriors, and no one would sell the Tyrant Tree, since it would damage their reputation. At most, they would plant a patch of Tyrant Tree in their own sect. The savage desolate ancient place's savage chi was extremely dense. Being enveloped by this chi, no matter if it was the body or Jin Yuan, they would all be greatly suppressed. Moreover, the desolate ancient place's savage chi was 10 times denser than the savage desolate ancient place. With Yi Chen's perception, even if a half-step king entered the desolate ancient place, they would only be able to fly at a low altitude. That horrifying savage chi would be like a huge mountain pressing down on their backs. Besides that, there were layers of dark clouds in the sky above the desolate ancient place. They were extremely thick, looking like lead clouds. These lead clouds could weaken the detection of soul power, making it impossible to see what was above. Indeed worthy of being the desolate ancient place. Yi Chen's understanding of the desolate ancient place came from books, so he did not know some of the details. Maintaining 100 meters distance from the ground, Yi Chen flew at a low altitude, gradually heading deeper into the desolate ancient place. Shoo! Shoo! A couple of tiny black shadows flew past Yi Chen, fast like phantoms. Even normal birds can be this fast. It must be as fast as the speed of sound. Yi Chen reached out his hand, and a black shadow was caught in his hand. Opening his palm, he saw that it was a little bird. It looked like it was only the size of an egg, but it was not light at all. It was like a rock of the same size. The little bird flapped its wings, trying to fly. Its wings were flapping fast like blades. Raising his palm slightly, the little bird escaped from his control and flew away quickly. What happened next was a bit strange. More and more birds and beasts started flying in Yi Chen's direction. There were eagles, leopards, and wolves. It seemed like a large-scale migration, but there was also a trace of panic. Something is chasing them away. Yi Chen guessed. Not daring to be careless, Yi Chen slightly slowed down, not changing his direction. Faint gusts of wind brushed past Yi Chen's face. As he went deeper, the gusts of wind became stronger and stronger, eventually turning into a suction force. Yi Chen saw with his own eyes a flock of birds being pulled back by this suction force. Then, they flew backwards at a speed even faster than before, unable to control themselves. On the ground, a mammoth the size of a house was lifted off the ground, also flying backwards, crazily neighing. What a powerful suction force! Yi Chen was extremely curious. Just what was in front of him that could cause so many animals in the desolate ancient place to flee? The skilled were bold. Yi Chen sped up, flying towards the source of the suction force. Soon, Yi Chen saw a giant black hole. This black hole was not a natural black hole, nor was it a black hole formed by the collapse of a planet. Instead, it was an open mouth. This mouth had a diameter of several dozen meters, and could swallow a small house. But in Yi Chen's opinion, this mouth could swallow a giant mountain. With this open mouth as the starting point, a terrifying suction force burst forth. The nearby hills, trees, rocks, birds, and beasts were all unable to escape this suction force and were all pulled into the giant mouth. Yi Chen discovered that the closer these things got to the giant mouth, the smaller they became. For example, a several 100-meter tall hill, when it approached the giant mouth, it became only several dozen meters tall. The owner of the mouth was a giant beast that Yi Chen had never seen before in Elysium. It had 4 limbs, its hind limbs were on the ground, and its front limbs were small, hanging in front of its chest. Its head was long, like a crocodile's, but it was several times thicker. It also had a long tail, and its back was bulging. No matter how Yi Chen looked at it, he felt that this was a Tyrannosaurus rex that had been magnified several dozen times. The suction force gradually weakened. The Tyrannosaurus rex closed its mouth and coldly looked at Yi Chen. The surroundings were a complete mess, and everything had been razed to the ground. Yi Chen floated in the air, extremely eye-catching. This should be the desolate demon beast, barbaric dragon. Desolate demon beasts were also demon beasts. They were the earliest batch of demon beasts in Elysium. Although they were called demon beasts at that time, they were now called desolate demon beasts because they were the most ancient. Many modern demon beasts had a trace of their bloodline flowing through their veins. Desolate demon beasts had a special characteristic, and that was that it was very difficult for them to transform into humans. Their intelligence was also not very high, and they were quite ferocious. Many of their characteristics were similar to giant star beasts. The Desolate Mountain and Elysium were not directly connected. The desolate demon beasts here had survived generation after generation. Their bloodline was pure, and they would not become ordinary demon beasts. Roar! The barbaric dragon raised its head and roared. It took a big step and charged toward Yi Chen. Big guy, I didn't provoke you. After releasing the sword domain, the barbaric dragon's speed slowed down, and it could hardly move. An ominous glint flashed through the barbaric dragon's eyes. It tilted its upper body and swung its 100-meter-long tail at Yi Chen like a sharp knife, which was covered with a layer of yellow light. Yi Chen was just about to make a move to teach this powerful barbaric dragon that was as powerful as a high-rank king warrior. Suddenly, 3 blade lights flashed, and the barbaric dragon was cut into 3. An earthy yellow beast core flew out and landed in the hand of a middle-aged man with a cold face. My luck is not bad. I didn't get a beast core even after killing 3 desolate demon beasts, but this barbaric dragon actually has one. The middle-aged man glanced at Yi Chen and left. Chapter 964. Prison King. Yi Chen mumbled one word. The stern middle-aged man was none other than the sect leader of the Prison Gate, one of the 9 great sects of True Spirit Continent, the Prison King. According to the rumors, the Prison King was a peak king with battle strength similar to the Evil King, a 4-star tyrant. Unexpectedly, he was already a titled monarch, not any weaker than the yellow-robed old freak. However, it was understandable. After all, the rumors were in the past. Without stopping the other party, Yi Chen allowed the Prison King to leave. This Yi Chen doesn't dare to stop me. It seems like he doesn't have the confidence to do so. While flying, a cold smile appeared on the corner of the Prison King's mouth. He had only used 80% of his power to kill the barbaric dragon. The demonic beasts of Desolate Land had a special characteristic, and that was their huge bodies. They were bloodthirsty and cruel, unlike the current demonic beasts, which had big bodies and small bodies, cruel and docile ones. Since entering the Desolate Mountain, the smallest demonic beast Yi Chen had seen was the size of a water buffalo. It was a desolate poisonous mosquito, which could suck a mammoth dry in one breath. Unlike the Prison King, Yi Chen did not kill the demonic beasts of Desolate Land and seize their beast cores. The beast cores of demonic beasts would transform into demonic power at the Sea of Soul realm. However, a small portion of the demonic beasts would still have beast cores, which were the essence of their demonic power. However, these demonic beasts could only be found in the Desolate Mountain and some other rare places. Killing them would be too much of a pity. However, there was one kind of demonic beast that Yi Chen had no choice but to kill, and that was the blood-winged dragon that came from the leaden clouds. This kind of demonic beast was obsessed with flesh and blood. Yi Chen had let them off time and time again, but he ended up being chased by a group of blood-winged dragons. It should be known that a blood-winged dragon was equivalent to a high-step king, and its speed was as fast as a bloody light. Even if Yi Chen was a titled monarch, he would still have to flee in a sorry state. Therefore, he had learned his lesson. If he encountered a blood-winged dragon, he would kill it first. Otherwise, he would have to run for his life again when it called for its companions. Along the way, Yi Chen also obtained 2 beast dawn of the blood-winged dragon. One was as big as a bowl, and the other was a bit deformed, with many bumps and bumps, with dark yellow light flowing on its surface. The former contained a large amount of king-level beast chi, while the latter contained several times more beast chi than the former, and carried a trace of savage aura that made people's hearts palpitate. Caw! A shriek suddenly came from above the lead cloud. The voice penetrated everything, and it seemed to be extremely angry. This voice, could it be the Blood-Winged Dragon King? An ordinary Blood-Winged Dragon had the strength of a high-level king, an elite Blood-Winged Dragon had the strength of a peak king, and a Blood-Winged Dragon King had the strength of a titled Emperor King. Of course, this did not mean that the weakest Blood-Winged Dragon was a high-level king. The main reason was that the Great Desolate Mountain was not only extremely dangerous to outsiders, it was also dangerous to the lifeforms that lived within. Blood-Winged dragons with strength lower than a high-level king would normally not come out to hunt. At least, Yi Chen had never seen one. Running is the best choice. The Blood-Winged Dragon King was not that easy to kill, and if the battle dragged on for too long, it would become a very troublesome matter. Releasing his sword domain, Yi Chen turned into a beam of sword light and flew out, disappearing into the depths of the Great Desolate Mountain. The lead cloud above Yi Chen's head cracked open, and a blood-red blood-winged dragon, which was 10 times larger than an ordinary blood-winged dragon, swooped down. Its body was not only larger, but also more robust. On the surface of its blood-red skin, there were also specks of yellow light flickering, which were similar to the deformed beast dawn that Yi Chen had obtained before. Crack! A hard mountain peak was crushed into pieces. Somewhere in the depths of the Great Desolate Mountain, a bewitching woman wearing dark green clothes was fighting with an elite blood-winged dragon. The bewitching woman's weapon was a pair of jade scimitars. As she waved the scimitars, countless jade scimitars flashed in the air, like crescent moons hanging in the sky, leaving behind bone-deep scars on the elite blood-winged dragon's body. If someone was here right now, they would definitely recognize her. The second king of the chaotic demon ocean, Cassiopeia King. However, this elite blood-winged dragon was even scarier than Cassiopeia King had imagined. Not only was it as fast as lightning, but it also managed to dodge most of the scimitars. The sharp claws on its wings would occasionally break through her protective Jin Yuan, leaving traces on her green armor. The claw power passed through the armor, causing her blood to boil. I can only use my killing move now. Cassiopeia King yelled as she crossed her scimitars and slashed at the elite blood-winged dragon. Swoosh! Half of the elite blood-winged dragon's body was cut into 4 pieces. At the same time, Cassiopeia King grunted as her left arm and scimitar fell off her body. It turned out that the moment the elite blood-winged dragon was killed, it had also used its last bit of power to tear off her left arm with one claw attack. Come back. Cassiopeia King sucked back her left arm and the scimitar in her left hand, reconnecting them to the left side of her body. Her flesh wriggled, and she recovered in an instant. This beast Dan is a bit strange. After killing the elite blood-winged dragon, Cassiopeia King was lucky enough to get a beast Dan. Her beast Dan was very similar to the one Yi Chen had gotten. Putting away the beast Dan, Cassiopeia King's body flashed and was about to leave. Not good. Very abruptly, the body that had been sent flying was bounced back and forth a few times. Hurriedly activating his soul power, the Cassiopeia King discovered that the air around him was filled with layers of spider webs that were hard to see with the naked eye. These spider webs were unbelievably large and faintly glowed with 5 colors. It was difficult to notice them with just a sweep of soul power. Only by careful observation could one notice them. Black Mountain Queen, there is no enmity between us. Let me go, and I will pretend nothing happened. Cassiopeia King's body was stuck to the spider webs. She struggled a few times but could not break free. How did you know it was me? The Black Mountain Queen, who was wearing a long black robe and equally beautiful, appeared from the void. Other than you, only the Black Mountain Ancestor can trap me with spider webs. But with the Black Mountain Ancestor's power, there is no need for him to target me. Cassiopeia King said calmly. Indeed, my ancestor would not lower himself to deal with you. The Black Mountain Queen nodded. Then, please let me go. Although the Cassiopeia King was a peak king, the Black Mountain Queen was even more famous. The Black Mountain Queen's actual battle prowess was at most a low-tier 4-star king, but even peak 4-star kings wouldn't provoke her. Her spider webs could be set up anywhere. Once caught, it would be extremely difficult to escape. However, the Black Mountain Queen could set up layers upon layers of spider webs. Letting you go is impossible, Cassiopeia King. 2 more figures appeared. The one who spoke was a yellow-robed old man with a jade-like face. Heaven Illusion King, Ironbone King. Cassiopeia King's face turned unsightly. Heaven Illusion King was the Void Gate's first Supreme Elder. He had already reached peak 4-star battle strength many years ago, and now, he might even have the battle strength of a 4-star tyrant. Ironbone King was the leader of Lin Clan, one of the 4 great clans of True Spirit Continent. He walked the path of body refinement and could be said to be unparalleled in close combat. The 3 of you ganging up on me, aren't you afraid of my Chaos Demon Ocean's leader finding out? Cassiopeia King knew that today was not going to be a good day. How could the other party not know of the leader, Demon Flower Emperor's existence? The reason he asked this question was to buy him some time to escape. This is True Spirit Continent, not Blood Sky Continent. If you think that Demonic Flower Emperor and Mysterious Queen can act unbridled in Blood Sky Continent, they can do the same in True Spirit Continent, then you are gravely mistaken. If Demonic Flower Emperor doesn't come, then it would be fine. But since she has come, then let her suffer a bit. Sky Ethereal King's expression was calm as he looked down on Cassiopeia King. You should say this to my leader face to face. Cassiopeia King's face turned ashen. These 3 were too impudent. Less nonsense. You won't be able to escape today. As the great calamity of the foreign races approached, the voices against the demonic humans rose once again. Apart from a few kings, the majority of the kings didn't like the demonic humans. They had already begun to move in the dark, wanting to eliminate or imprison the demonic humans to prevent them from siding with the demons in the future. Demon Flower Emperor had made a deal with Yi Chen in order to prepare for a rainy day. He hoped that Yi Chen could help the demonic humans overcome this crisis one day. Xianhou and Yi Chen are also my Chaos Demon Ocean's allies. Aren't you afraid of them denouncing us? Cassiopeia King could sense the gravity of the situation. Today, she had to escape True Spirit Continent and inform the leader. Otherwise, who knew how many demonic humans would suffer? This was not something she wanted to see. Humph, Xianhou and Yi Chen are merely ingrates. The human race nurtured them, but they helped outsiders. But, it doesn't matter. If we kill you today, I don't think they will dare say anything. Ironbone King sneered. Whirlwind Chop. All of a sudden, the Cassiopeia King's body that was stuck to the spider web began to spin. The jade scimitar in his hand spun along with his body like a giant spiral cutter. The sound of steel snapping rang out as it cut through the spider web. While speaking, Cassiopeia King had been accumulating power, wanting to break through the web in an instant. Run! Breaking through the web, Cassiopeia King's figure flickered as his curved blade slashed at the layers of web in front of him. Cassiopeia King, do you think we don't know that you're fighting for an opportunity for yourself? Heaven Ethereal King made a grabbing motion, and a powerful binding power shrouded Cassiopeia King. Damn it! Cassiopeia King's speed immediately slowed down. If he continued to break through at this speed, he would be stuck by the web again. At that time, he would truly have no way out. Go back. Taking advantage of Heaven Ethereal King holding Cassiopeia King, Ironbone King appeared in front of Cassiopeia King and punched out. The fist power was incomparably tyrannical. Because of its extreme speed and strength, a white halo appeared in front of the fist. Bang! Cassiopeia King was blasted back, spurting out a mouthful of blood. Cassiopeia King, you can't escape. Black Mountain Queen shook her head. Today, no one can save you. Heaven Ethereal King also said. Is that so? I, Yi Chen, want to save her. how can you stop me? Right at this moment, a sword chi flickered. The layers of web couldn't even withstand it for a moment, and a figure flew in. If it wasn't Yi Chen, who else could it be? Chapter 965. The spiderweb was connected to Black Mountain Queen's mind. Breaking one or two layers wouldn't have much effect on her. However, Yi Chen broke all of the spiderweb, causing Black Mountain Queen to let out a muffled groan, and a trace of blood seeped out of the corner of her mouth. Yi Chen. Black Mountain Queen stared at Yi Chen. Time flew, and the little genius in Four Extreme Emperor's tomb had already grown to such an extent that even she had to look up to him. She had heard that Black Water Ancestor, who had shaken Elysium for hundreds of years, had died at his hands. Nirvana Demon Emperor's soul had also suffered a heavy injury, and he was almost killed by Demon Flower Emperor and Xianhou. Although Nirvana Demon Emperor had obtained Heaven-Abandoning Emperor's inheritance and could contend against Golden Turtle Ancestor, from the fact that Nirvana Demon Emperor didn't directly cause trouble for Yi Chen, it was clear that he was apprehensive of Yi Chen and his allies. Not only Nirvana Demon Emperor, but the news of Golden Turtle Ancestor's defeat at Yi family had also spread. Your Highness Yi Chen. Seeing Yi Chen, Cassiopeia King heaved a sigh of relief. With Yi Chen here, these three clearly couldn't kill her. Since Yi Chen hadn't been to Conferred King Palace, Cassiopeia King addressed him as Your Highness out of respect. Patriarch had said that Yi Chen's strength had already reached an unfathomable level, and he was improving almost every day. Thus, addressing him as Your Highness was not inappropriate. Yi Chen nodded, don't worry. With me here, they can't touch you. Ironbone King's brows creased. He didn't like this Yi Chen. When Yi Chen entered the life and death realm, Yi clan held a banquet. Among the four great clans, only Lin clan didn't attend. Yi Chen, I've heard of you. You're one of the few geniuses in this era. However, I advise you to put yourself in the right place. Don't go against the entire Elysium just because of the demonic humans. Anyone who stands in the way of the Elysium's advancement will be crushed to pieces. You're no exception. Is that so? However, you cannot represent Elysium. You are not worthy. Yi Chen turned his head and looked at the Ironbone King. Clenching his fists, the Ironbone King suddenly smiled and said, I heard you killed the yellow-robed old freak and the other two. I, Ironbone King, don't believe it. Your true strength should only be low 5-star. The Ironbone King didn't believe that Yi Chen could kill the yellow-robed old freak and the other two alone. Xianhou and Demon Flower Emperor must have used some method to help him. After all, there was no bystander on the scene. As the saying goes, seeing is believing, hearing is believing. This saying was not a joke. Although he, the Ironbone King, was a 4-star overlord, as long as he got close, even a low 5-star battle strength wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand. You can give it a try, but don't blame me if I don't hold back and injure you. Yi Chen said indifferently. Injure me? I'm afraid it won't be that easy. The Ironbone King was a body-refining monarch, so his physical defense was extremely strong. In the past, he had also been chased by a titled monarch, but he had only suffered some light injuries. As he spoke, he secretly sent a message to the Heaven Oasis King, I'll test his strength first. If he's only low 5-star battle strength, the three of us together will be enough to suppress him. Be careful. The Heaven Oasis King remained calm. Yi Chen, please enlighten me. The Ironbone King's eyes emitted a strong battle intent. Other than Yi Chen and the Ironbone King, everyone else retreated hundreds of miles away. The Cassiopeia King secretly sent a message to Yi Chen, Your Highness Yi Chen, don't fight him in close combat. Although I know you don't fear him with your strength, it will still be troublesome. In fact, the Cassiopeia King really wanted to see what level Yi Chen's strength had reached. As the Ironbone King had said, seeing is believing. Many things could only be believed after seeing with one's own eyes. Yi Chen smiled indifferently, in close combat, he will lose even more miserably. Before the Cassiopeia king could figure out what this meant, the Iron Bone king made his move. His first move was a killing move, punching at Yi Chen's head with a black energy like mist. The Heaven and Earth Destruction Fist. The fist energy is quite strong. Yi Chen's figure flickered, and the black fist energy passed by him. "Ha, you know that I specialize in close combat, but you still dare not pull away. You are indeed as arrogant as the rumors say." The Iron Bone King was overjoyed. He instantly appeared in front of Yi Chen, his fists like arrows, throwing out countless punches. Having trained his body to this level, the Iron Bone King's every punch was unbelievably fast and powerful. He shouldn't be lying. The Cassiopeia king stared unblinkingly at Yi Chen, waiting to see how he would deal with this. "Iron Bone King, I'll show you what speed is." Be it the Queen of Black Mountain, the Heaven Illusionary King, or the Cassiopeia king, none of them could see how Yi Chen drew his sword. Even the Iron Bone King only saw a blur before his eyes, and countless sword lights burst forth. Clang, 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 clang. The sword lights were not only fast, but also very accurate. Following the gaps in the fist energy, they slashed at the Iron Bone King's chest. The Iron Bone King threw hundreds of punches, and Yi Chen threw thousands of sword attacks. But the difference was that the Iron Bone King's punch did not hit Yi Chen, while Yi Chen's sword hit him without exception. Puchi. The last sword was like lightning in the night, sweeping across the Iron Bone King's neck. As blood spurted, the Iron Bone King's head flew up, his eyes filled with fear. "How is this possible? How can I not hit you with one punch?" The Iron Bone King roared. "There is no sword in the hand, but there is a sword in the heart. You won't understand this realm." Reaching this realm meant that one had no flaws to speak of. Unless there was a huge difference in strength, or an opponent of the same realm, no one could suppress Yi Chen in close combat. "I won't kill you, but if there's a next time, I'll definitely kill you." The Iron Bone King was a body-refining king, and in the study of the physical body, he was comparable to ordinary monarchs. He was only one step away from the blood rebirth realm. Cutting off his head would not kill him. The head connected to the body, and the Iron Bone King spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Although he was a body-refining king with strong physical defense and supreme-grade armor that blocked most of the damage, it was already very rare for him to not die after thousands of sword attacks. With a swish, the Iron Bone King quickly retreated, away from Yi Chen. "Just like the Iron Bone King, I don't want to kill you. Leave." Yi Chen looked at the Black Mountain Queen and the Heaven Illusionary King. The Black Mountain Queen said, "Yi Chen, you have a lot of potential, but you will bring disaster upon yourself. This time, the matter of targeting the demonic human race has already been approved by many monarchs. With just you alone, even with Xianhou and the Demon Flower Emperor, you won't be able to stop this momentum. If you forcefully stop it, you will only be crushed. The demonic human race has not betrayed Elysium. Just because there is this possibility, you want to kill them. In other words, it is not just the demonic human race that might betray Elysium. Is it impossible for some of the humans and beasts to do the same? Do you want to kill everyone in the world?" Yi Chen said coldly. The Heaven Illusionary King said, "The blood of demons flows in the demonic human race. They are born with demonic nature, which makes it easier for them to betray Elysium. Just in case, they have to die or be controlled. My true spirit continent cannot afford to lose, and does not dare to lose. Yi Chen, if you don't want to become a sinner of Elysium, you'd better not interfere in this matter." "What if I insist on interfering? Today, you can save Cassiopeia King, but you can't save the entire demonic human race." "What a joke. Since Elysium allows my existence, I'll show you how I stop them. As long as the demonic human race does not betray us, I will protect them." "Insane." Black Mountain Queen shook her head. Yi Chen's actions were no different from smashing an egg against a rock. Today, it was her who had come. If it had been her grandmaster, Yi Chen wouldn't have been able to escape, not to mention the other titled monarchs. Hearing these words, the Heaven Illusionary King's gaze turned cold. This Yi Chen was really stubborn. Did he really think that he was invincible after becoming a titled monarch? Why speak so much nonsense? Let me kill this Cassiopeia king. A figure suddenly appeared above Cassiopeia king. It was the Hell King. He stretched out his right hand, and 3 blade lights shot out from his palm. It was precisely the move he had used to kill Barbarian Dragon. Humph. Yi Chen's figure shifted through the void, appearing before Cassiopeia king in an instant. The Sky Scorpio sword swept through the void, and a sword light shot out like a waterfall, shattering the 3 blade lights. Yi Chen, get out of the way. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. The Hell King said sternly. Hell King, I didn't find trouble with you, yet you came to find trouble with me. Do you think I'm a pushover that you can bully as you please? The Hell King had killed Barbarian Dragon right in front of him. Evidently, he didn't put him in his eyes. After all, with Barbarian Dragon's strength, it was impossible for him to do anything to Yi Chen. If he was stronger than Yi Chen, then he would have done Yi Chen a great favor by killing Barbarian Dragon. On the other hand, he was completely ignoring him. However, Yi Chen didn't want to make things difficult for the Hell King over such a trivial matter. In his opinion, it wasn't worth it. As long as the other party didn't provoke him, it was fine. The Hell King sneered, Yi Chen, don't think too highly of yourself. Do you really think that no one in this world can do anything to you? It's just that they don't want to make a move. Get out of the way, or I won't mind letting you see blood. There are some things that you can't and don't have the ability to care about. Let me see blood. Let's see if you have the ability. Ridiculous. Hell-breaking slash. The Hell King raised his arm high. His entire arm glowed with an intense grayish-black light, as though it had turned into a blade used to behead prisoners. Boom! Shockwaves rolled out, making way for the blade light. The Hell King's blade light was only tens of meters long at first, but in the next instant, it turned into a large expanse of grayish-black light. The blade light was everywhere, like the sun in the sky, sprinkling down its radiance and destroying the haze. Quick, the Hell King is making a move. Yi Chen definitely won't have an easy time. Black Mountain Queen, set up a spider web to prevent Yi Chen from escaping with the Cassiopeia king. The Heaven Illusionary King said to the Black Mountain Queen. All right. The Black Mountain Queen opened her arms, shooting out countless multicolored spider webs invisible to the naked eye. But soon, her expression froze, and the speed at which she shot out the spider webs also slowed down. Facing the Hell King's killer move, Yi Chen slashed out with his sword. A cold sword astral tore through the boundless blade light, like a shooting star in the dark starry sky, streaking across the night sky. Autumn Water Sword Art's third style, bone-breaking. Pooh! Without any suspense, the Hell King was sent flying, blood spurting out of his mouth. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.